Greetings everybody, this is Jonathan Shelley. This video is in response to the different analogies that I heard from people concerning exactly what originally happened in the Garden of Eden. So I took it up on myself to do an in-depth scriptural study of exactly what happened, using no outside sources, using only the Bible. I didn't get no help from any, commentaries or none of that. What I did was had to think to myself, what is Yahweh trying to tell us exactly what happened in Eden? A lot of people that I met, they tell me that they believe in a literal serpent seed line, that Adam and Eve had sex with an animal, they had sex with a magician because the similar word in the Chosh was used to represent the serpent. Some people say that Adam and Eve were white and they had sex with black people. That's why Yahweh banned them from the garden. Homosexuality was going on. But let's think about what really happened without, using all these things that people teach you. Just use the Bible, nothing else. Dwell on the word of Yahweh. And in doing it, I actually found out that Adam and Eve kept the very first Sabbath day with Yahweh, which Yahweh put in me to tell people that the Sabbath is not a law of Moshe, it's a law of Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? It was kept, if Yahweh kept the Sabbath, all the way in Genesis chapter 2, verse 1 through 3, where Yahweh finished creating man and woman on the 6th day, and on the 7th day he rested. Well, if he created man and woman on the 6th day, what were they doing, on that 6th day? So that caused me to continue to do some scriptural studies or whatever. And I noticed what they did. If you go to chapter 2, verse 21, remember this was the 6th day that Yahweh created man. Chapter 2, verse 21 tells you, after Yahweh had Adam name all the beasts of the field and look for a mate, chapter 21 tells you, Yahweh Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. A deep sleep. What do people do? Rest. The Sabbath is Shabbat, rest day. He slept and took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead of it. And the rib which Yahweh Elohim had taken from the man, he made a woman. That goes hand in hand with chapter 1 verse 27. And Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. And it goes on along with chapter 2, verse 3, where it says, and Elohim blessed the 7th day and hallowed it, because that and he rested from all his work which he had made. So Adam and Eve kept the Sabbath with Yahweh. They both rested. When Yahweh put Adam to sleep, he made Eve, but didn't give her the breath of life. He gave her breath, but she slept with Adam, but didn't give her the awakening to get up and go around and mess around and play. They kept the Sabbath just like Yahweh kept the Sabbath. And it says here in verse 23, and the man said, 22. It says, and Yahweh had taken from the man, made her a woman, and brought her unto the man. So now this is after the Sabbath, when Yahweh brought her to the man. And the man said, this is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. Apparently Yahweh told him, hey, this is what I did. I took somebody from you and made this woman. So as we see, they kept the 7th day Sabbath with Yahweh. And from then on, they kept, I'm pretty sure Yahweh, since the first sin was not breaking the Sabbath, the first sin was eating of the tree, I'm pretty sure that Yahweh told them, hey, y'all just kept the Sabbath with me. Y'all need to keep it weekly. This is the day, yesterday was the day, and y'all keep it, weekly or whatever, and y'all commune with me. This is the day I come talk to y'all, and we commune and all this other stuff. So they did keep the Sabbath day. And I'm pretty sure they taught it to their kids, and their kids, it went all the way down the line. The Bible, of course, never talks about the Sabbath, but it was not instituted by Moshe. It was instituted by Yahweh. And yes, they did keep it. And also, to hit another note on this serpent seed line, this one guy told me that, like I said, they didn't eat a literal fruit of the tree. They listened to a lie and all this other stuff, or they had sex and all this. So me looking at chapter 3 all the way down to chapter 4, that made me think about, what's missing from this account? What's been missing from this whole account after Yahweh created the earth and kept the Sabbath day? Time is missing. It never tells you when the serpent came and talked to Eve. It never tells you how long were they walking around before, the serpent came up and talked to them. It never says any of that. People think that once the devil came and talked to Eve, that, it was this, one day after she was there, probably like she'd been a week old or something like that, and he came and talked to her, and then they used this verse, and the chapter 3, verse 6. It says, and the woman saw the tree was good for food, and that it was delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit of it and did eat, and she gave also to her husband with her. Saying that Adam, people say Adam couldn't stand being without Eve, so he ate of the tree. Well, the Bible tells in Hebrews that Adam was not deceived. Eve was. So if Adam was not deceived, that means he wouldn't have been deceived into thinking that he is without his wife by eating of a fruit. Apparently, judging by the text in chapter 3, starting from verse 9, that he didn't know he ate the fruit. Notice, Yahweh called out to the man and said, where are you? In chapter 3, verse 9 and verse 10 now, he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and hid myself. And he said, who told you you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree which I commanded that you should not eat? And the man said, the woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. Now, we know that Adam is not stupid enough to lie to Yahweh. He's not stupid enough to just be like, throw the blame on Yahweh. No, he blaming the woman. And then the man, and Yahweh Elohim said to the woman, what is this that you have done? Apparently, Yahweh knows everything. So he knows it was the woman that gave Adam the fruit. And Adam didn't know about it. And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And Yahweh Elohim said to the serpent, he didn't question the serpent. He said, because you have done this, cursed are you above all cattle, on your belly shall you go, and all this other stuff. Physical curse. Then he said to the woman, I will put enmity between you, to the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your pain and conception. In pain you shall bring forth children, and your desire shall be to your husband, and he shall rule over you. Physical curse. When you get down to the man, it says, unto Adam he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. That's not a physical curse. Adam was not cursed physically. So that made me think, did his wife tell him, hey, this the fruit of the tree, eat? No. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, Yahweh would have cursed him harder than that. He said, because you listen to the voice of your wife, basically saying, she was like, here, apparently they eat while Adam's out tilling messing with the animals. Eve is at home preparing a meal. He comes home, and she probably chops up the fruit and say, here, and he probably looked at it and was like, what is this? And she was like, oh, it's just another fruit I found that was, far off in the garden or whatever. And he ate it. You know what I'm saying? That leads me to 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 15. He is spiritual, judges all things. Apparently Adam didn't judge the thought, thinking that his wife surely wouldn't deceive him by eating the fruit. So he listened to a voice saying that it was okay to eat, but she didn't tell him that it was the fruit. Which sent me to, why was he still deemed guilty? Well, Yahweh tells you in Numbers, and Leviticus chapter 4:22, that even if you, I'm going to read that verse, Leviticus chapter 4, verse 22. All right, Leviticus chapter 4, verse 22. It says, when a ruler sins, remember, Adam is a ruler. When a ruler sins and does through ignorance any one of all those things which Yahweh his Elohim has commanded him not to be done, and is guilty, if his sin in which he has sinned is made known to him, he shall bring forth his oblation, a goat, a male without blemish. Did Adam go to Yahweh to tell him that he sinned after his eyes was open? No, he went and hid. Therefore, the sin was made known to him. He had a guilty conscience, but he did not confess his sins. So Yahweh came to him. Apparently, it was a Sabbath day that Adam and Eve broke because they wasn't going to commune with Yahweh. Yahweh was walking around looking for him, as he does on Sabbath day when he did with Moshe on the new moon festivals, and when he came to give the law and when everybody rested on the Sabbath, that's when Yahweh is closest with people, because the Sabbath is a sign between man and Yahweh. Yahweh is right here with you. So that is when the Sabbath was broke. They didn't want to commune with Yahweh because they had a guilty conscience. Yahweh is holy. So you see that Yahweh cursed the ground for his sake, and all the curses. There was no, physical pain that would be done to him. It just said he has to work. But in doing so, he blessed Adam and said the woman has to be under his authority. So he got, because the woman did that to him, he said, your desire shall be to your husband. Apparently her desire was not to her husband, it was for her own good. So Yahweh said, hey, your desire should be for your husband. You are his help, his need or whatever, to help worship me. Woman was put here to help men worship. So you see that Yahweh demands, he demands a good conscience. When that was broken, that's when Yahweh's wrath was going to drawn to them. But then it goes on to say that Yahweh made coats of skin for Adam and Eve to put on. Apparently the coats of skin was something like a sacrifice to let them know that, hey, this is supposed to be y'all. He killed some poor lamb and clothed them with it, so that every time they look at their clothes, they would know that this lamb died in my place. That's how they knew how to start sacrificing. Yahweh showed them. He showed them how to do that. Everything started in the Garden of Eden. So the Messiah came to bring us back to the Edenic state of a good conscience. Conscience, when you have a bad conscience, that draws you away from Yahweh. Paul says somewhere in Romans, I don't want to get in my Bible right now and turn to it and waste time. Paul said, for the Gentiles who have not the law do by nature the things of the law, is that not a law to themselves, their conscience bearing witness to the law written in their heart? That's telling you right now that if you go against a good conscience or whatever, even if I was a killer and I showed mercy to somebody, I just went against my conscience of killing somebody. So that right there lets you know that Yahweh demands a good conscience. So with all that, that's what really and originally happened in the Garden of Eden. I hope everybody understand that. Adam and Eve kept the Sabbath day. Adam and Eve did not, Adam anyway, did not go to the fruit and say, hey, give me a bite. No, he was deceived into eating it. He didn't just, he wasn't deceived into saying, it'll make you wise. He didn't even know about that lie. The devil talked to Eve. It tells you that in Genesis chapter 3. She didn't tell him none of that. She gave it to him and he ate it prematurely. So everybody, quit all this serpent seed line crap, quit all this nonsense, having sex with black folk and all. Quit all that. Read the Bible and let it interpret itself, man. May Yahweh be with y'all and bless y'all mind, and I hope this helped. I sincerely hope that everybody finds my videos very enlightening and edifying. If it's not edifying, send me a message. You don't have to post a comment trying to let everybody know you know scripture. Send me a message. You can send me a message at JUN for life. That's number 4 life 1925 at yahoo.com, or simply be my friend on Facebook and send me a message. My name is Jonathan Shelley, YAHNATAN. I'd be more than happy to answer any question. Even if I'm more than happy to learn. If you got something to tell me, because I need to learn everything, although that'll never happen. I don't turn down knowledge. If somebody say, Yahshua ain't the Messiah, prove it to me. I want to learn, and you should be the same way too. But know that the Bible interprets itself. It don't take a rocket scientist to say, hey, if the Bible is one complete book, apparently it was meant to be this way, so you ain't got to go get the Quran and prove the Bible right. No, you read the Bible. Shalom, and Yahweh bless you, and I hope this video helps out. Hallelujah.